50th year seems distant future, but it's actually less than 30 years away. And today, scientists, futurologists largely represent what awaits us next, how technology will develop, and what they will bring to humanity. So what will the world of the future be like? See in this issue, the most authoritative futurist for today is Google Technical Director Rayak Korsel, and all thanks to that. What is he located? At the forefront of artificial intelligence research, and his predictions come true by more than 80%. The general idea of Korsel is, technology is developing experimentally, because every discovery contributes. Development of the following statistics of recent decades only confirm that's a guess. So in recent years, use of renewable energy is growing experimentally, doubling every 4 years. Share of solar energy, and its consumption is growing even faster. So Elon Musk's business in solar panel market obviously has big ones. Researchers believe that renewable energy, at 100%, will replace fossil fuels by the early 30s, which will also contribute to the constant, cheap alternative energy. So cost, solar energy, over the past 10 years has fallen by more than 80%. Among alternative energy sources, there will be no only sun. For example, forests can be the power plants of the future. Clean tech company Bio, developing ways to generate electricity from plant photosynthesis. Ocean thermal energy is by far the largest, but an underrated renewable energy source. And right now, startup Luray is working on creating energy breakthrough, generating electricity on a communal scale by converting ocean thermal energy. But for real, we are certainly not worried about the energy. Will there be a place for man in the future? Specifically place working K. 2050 almost half of the profession will disappear. In the first place will go all routine operations. Who will take over as physical robots? And neural network, software with artificial intelligence, will manage robots in smart factories, passenger and cargo drones, keep accounting, make reports, exploring markets, and perform most administrative functions. Smart robots will take such positions, like guards, cook, fast food and street food, waiters and pickers in the warehouse, and couriers. Many companies have even replaced the large part of their human resources departments. Artificial intelligence, who is engaged in recruitment, initial interview, and performance assessment. Some corporations use artificial intelligence for dismissal of employees. Among the meter of the universe, which completely excludes the human factor from such fateful situations, who cannot fear for their jobs. First of all, those who is in the top 10% of professionals in their professions, also in the relative safety of the profession, which require a high level of creativity, empathy, and flexibility, and of course without work, and will not remain those who does artificial intelligence research, develops robots, and maintains automated solutions. Does this mean that our lives will get worse? Most likely not. In the early 19th century, 80% of the population worked on the land. Today, about 2% are engaged in such work. In the 20s of the last century, quarter labor, able population in developed countries worked in factories and factories. There are more factories today, but they only employ 9% of the workforce. Is true, and the population on Earth has grown significantly over the years. Other side, in major cities, 65% of the population works with information and earn through professions which no one has even heard of 30, 50 years ago, and new professions will also appear in the next decade. But overall statistics, which is so loved by many futurists and researchers, talks about that the standard of living of a person with development, technological progress is constantly increasing. This, among other things, contributes to almost all technologies become cheaper over time. It's not just about electronics, so a cheapening the DNA sequencing process made biotechnology more accessible today to researchers, cheaper to detect genetic changes, which make possible, for example, cancer immunotherapy, can significantly increase the chances survive even people with stage 4. In the future, such personalized medicine will make treatment less invasive, safer, and more effective. Breakthrough in medicine will be a rapid and accurate diagnosis with invasive and non-invasive sensors, and artificial intelligence. Kurzweil says that the mass market of medical and not only gadgets, implants will appear in 2025. The development of 3D printing will also have a huge impact. Organ scientists have long been able to print cartilage and arteries, and are now actively working on creating with the help of bioprinting of such organs like liver, thyroid, hearts, and so on. According to the forecasts of the technical director of Google, medical 3D printers will appear in hospitals, any level, already in 10 years. 3D printing is generally considered a technology which will reduce the cost of production in all areas of industry, on which it will spread. Physicist and futurist Medio Kaku believes, what in the future, the market for the production of goods will rule. 3D printers each will be able to create customized things and according to your taste and needs. For example, printing toys as a gift to children for the new year according to their drawings, or get dream sneakers by measuring the foot with a laser and sending a request to the factory, where the printer will make a comfortable pair shoes and a drone courier will deliver it to your home. As for Drone to Paradise, Kurzweil suggests that in 2024 it will be forbidden to drive a car without smart driver assistance system, and by 33 the road will be completely filled by an unmanned car. Moving on to artificial intelligence. Today, neurovisualization technologies constantly improving. Scientists can already observe formation of separate neural signals in real time that helps them get an idea of how the brain works. It promotes the creation of neuromorphic chips, architecture and principles of which are based on biological neural networks. So artificial neurons provide extremely high speed and performance, learning right while working. They are able to handle dynamic tasks, example, recognize smells and speech or image in the video sequence, and perform recognition with prediction, according to incomplete data, considering that the computation volume of neural networks doubles every 30 months. In the coming years, they will begin to explore everything what reasonable people are capable of. They will be able to track even that information which we do not record in the text, thanks to natural speech recognition technologies. If before most experts didn't even want to talk about common artificial intelligence, today many consider it attainable and possible. According to forecasts, in 10 years artificial intelligence will master all human skills and will be able to demonstrate reactions irrecoverable from human. Moreover, obviously Russia, those will surpass man in every area, which will be mastered, and of course developments in the field and help create advanced robots. By the end of the 20s, robots capable of fully autonomous complex actions will become the same familiar thing, like a fridge or coffee maker. They finally master the real-world environment, thanks to accelerated learning in simulations and exchange of experience among themselves. This will be possible thanks to technology 6G and up, as well as the experimentally growing amount of data collected by sensors. Besides 3D printing, development of new materials, they will make robots look like humans. So what happens next? Will there be an artificial intelligence uprising and smart robots? Such a scenario is actively promoted. Science fiction, but most experts consider it unlikely. Technology and technology only expanded human capabilities, so it will be in the next decade, and it will affect and the immediate possibilities of each person. So we'll be smarter by the 30s through progress in the field of creating interfaces, brain-computer, and that's on, and there won't necessarily be chips implanted in the brain. Great development will receive non-invasive interfaces, and expected that by 2050 they will provide bidirectional exchange of information, being able to connect, don't cortex our brain to the computer. With going online, we can many times faster receive and process information. Also, neuro interfaces will be able to transmit visual, sound, and other sensations, images, and experiences created by these devices will almost indistinguishable from reality and unique to everyone user because it depends on the structure of the brain. As for chips implanted in the brain to overcome the effects of injury, severe diseases, about them in particular, about the achievements of Neuralink, we told in the issue on the link in the hint. But the changes will affect not only our intelligence, but also the body. Futurist Medio Kaku is convinced that soon we will gain advanced vision with the help of smart contact lenses. Glasses already exist now, where doctors can see MRI images of the patient right during the operation. In the future, lenses will include built-in cameras, Wi-Fi, augmented reality, night and thermal vision, possibility of scaling, text messaging that will be projected before your eyes. Will people improve themselves physically? Adding robotic body. The first trend is artificial intelligence. Cities of the future will implement automated processes and will also use planning approaches based on data. Machines work around the clock, no days off. A task operation which performs. Cities become increasingly intelligent and based on artificial intelligence behavior of almost everyone. Citizens will register with anonymous data, and 5G technology will allow cities to become huge, related ecosystems. Moreover, today such cities, like Dublin and Singapore, create digital twins of their physical assets, using machine learning to predict future developments and trends. Example can be not only Singapore, but also Poop in Portugal. Coastal resort town with a population of 200,000, annually attracts about 1.5–1 million tourists and strive to become best place to live for one day or for life. To improve the efficiency of transport infrastructure, public safety and other services, the city has developed a large portfolio of technology services, from energy-efficient buildings to remote payments for parks. In 1918, the Cashboard developed a digital command line center managed services platform due Synergy Networks. Platform support ecosystem management, predict events based on data analysis, and also facilitates decision-making and urban planning, for example by integrating traffic data, condition of roads in real time. System optimizes work schedule and routes of garbage trucks, reducing operating costs by up to 40%. Second trend of the present city of the future, smart healthcare system. Cities carry responsibility for creating a healthy environment. Health ecosystem should be focused not only on diagnosis and treatment of diseases, but also on maintaining well-being through early intervention and prevention using digital technologies. Scientific achievements and availability of personalized medical care. Genomics, micronics, metabolism, and behavioral economics provide individual assistance to individuals and their families be healthier. Citizens will rely on interoperable data and analytics that will help make the right choices about health behavior. To create such a system, among other things, need to invest funds to privacy infrastructure and data security. An example of the implementation of such a tanda can be called Chicago. The city prioritizes the creation of an interconnected health ecosystem and well-being. ELF Chicago. 2 projects were launched for this. Zero in 2016 and Chicago Health's 2025 in 2020 programs aimed at maximum equality in relation to health and well-being of residents. The third trend is the design of cities, thus to convenience, and most services were within 15 minutes walk or bike ride from any resident. 15-minute city concept developed in the first stage to reduce carbon dioxide emissions, represents decentralized model of urban planning, which each district contains all basic social functions for work life. Although this approach may not be fully applicable, every city, remote work and digitalization of services expands application of the principle. District planning, similar versions of city cells or 20 and 30-minute quarters in recent decades have appeared around the world. Example in Paris implemented program, whose name sounds like a city for a quarter of an hour. Initiative aims to reduce carbon emissions. Concentration, priority for pedestrians and cyclists. Decentralization of the city. Priority areas include easy access to workplaces, shops, schools, clinics, and cultural events. Transport planning framework. The mayor of the city announced the allocation of €350,000,000 to create a pedestrian zone and bicycle paths on every street by 2024 year, as well as the removal of 60,000 parking spaces. For private cars, the fourth trend of cities of the future: mobility, intelligent, sustainable, and as a service. Similar, smart city ITI systems, who are trying to optimize traffic flow to increase road capacity, no longer considered the direction of the future. Today, experts are confident that the future is behind the decline in the number of cars. In first concept of 15-minute cities, in principle, should reduce overall intra-city traffic. In second, multimodal mobility will be introduced, on-demand and mobility as a service platforms. For example, residents will be able to plan and book door-to-door trips in digital form, use one same tariff card for everyone, modes of transport, and receive access to automated cargo delivery services on the last world with seamless payment models. An example is Los Angeles, who is working on implementing sustainable and intelligent mobile solutions. City seeks to reduce air pollution by accelerating electrification. Los Angeles accounts for about half of all traffic, us electric vehicles, and by 2030 the city pledged to have 5 million electric cars. Also, there are several buses running in town, working on camera-mated natural gas, and about 40 electric buses with zero emissions on the Orange Rapid line, expected to have the entire Los Angeles bus fleet by 2030. Metro transportation will be. Local authorities are also working to introduce air mobility. Fifth trend: city CAC's right innovation ecosystem. He implies what cities will accept. So-called five-stage structure of innovation spiral, interaction between universities, industry, government, the public, and the environment. The city authorities will act as binder, providing interoperability and infrastructure. Cities will become living laboratories for digital transformation and experiment centers, using data to develop pilot projects, which can be scaled. At the heart of the city of the future development strategy is talent attraction goal. Example: Finnish city Espoo, one of the European leaders in innovation and sustainable development. Smart cities, they're located, active startup center, and some of the most valuable Finnish companies, and also university, Aalto and Finnish Technical Research Center, Vice TI, two important players in the innovation arena. In the city with the highest density of foreign talent, GV seeks to position itself as a place where is development carried out in the first place in the interests of residents. That is, uses the city as a service approach. Sixth trend: smart, eco-friendly buildings and infrastructure. Buildings in the cities of the future are built from sustainable and ethical materials. They will be energy efficient, water and resources saving, to trying from renewable energy sources and produce own energy. Also, they can be covered with vertical gardens and roof gardens. Besides, they will use data and digital technology to allow components, infrastructure to become more efficient and better adapt for use by stakeholders. Thanks to digitalization, buildings will be applied individual approach to heating and services, taking into account the characteristics of each individual structure. Gardner predicts that by 2028 in commercially smart buildings will be more than 4 billion connected OT devices. They will be powered by telecommunications infrastructure with 5G and high-performance Wi-Fi 6 or 6T, as well as from smart utilities such as electricity, waste disposal, and its up to supply. Smart buildings will form smart neighborhoods. An example is Singapore, one of the first to adopt green initiatives, architecture, and sustainable urban planning. In 2005, he introduced the Green Mark certification scheme, aimed at creating environmentally friendly buildings. Now the goal is at least 80% by 2030. The buildings in Singapore were green. On 2018 year, 1/3 of the area, city buildings met the standards of Green Mark. Seventh trend for grads of the future has nothing to do with technology. This is green planning of public spaces. Urban areas are traditionally characterized by high population density and heavy construction. They constantly collide with pressure from a growing population, limited resources, and growing impact. Climate change, lack of natural space, create an unhealthy urban habitat. Green zones in cities with pedestrian and bike paths lower the temperature, reduce air pollution, and increase natural sustainability of the environment. and also contribute to restoration of psychological health and increasing human physical activity. Global Agenda Council, World Economic Forum on the Future. Cities included increasing green cover in his list of 10 major initiatives. Urban planning. For today, the leader in green areas in the city is Singapore. And by the way about that, why is this the city of the future? We told in the video on the hint link. But greenery projects, they are much less wealthy and successful cities. For example, Project Freetown, Adept Traytown, at Sierra Leone's Freetown, one of the most populated cities in the world, characterized by fast but uneven growth, set a plan to plant 1 million trees in 3 years. The goal is to reduce source erosion. Also increase vegetation cover in the city by 50%. City canopy assessed using machine learning. Planting seedlings produced evenly throughout the city. And tree growth is tracked in a special application. 3 Tracker. 8th trend, cybersecurity and privacy. In the city of the future, attack on infrastructure. Smart city can lead to cascading effects and affect other parts of the country's city, or even go beyond it. The greater the complexity of the technology and operational interactions and system management, the higher the interest of hackers. Cybersecurity issues must be taken into account. Still at the planning stage of a smart city. Interesting that evolution has happened over the past decade. In the field of cybersecurity, originally cities tried to create property fortresses, but then began to understand that using the cloud will be more secure. Many cloud providers services have security experts working around the clock and 7 days a week with great monitoring capabilities, detection and prevention of attacks. An example of a protected city can be Tel Aviv. Faced with an ever-increasing number of cyber attacks, in 2010, Israel began to create an ecosystem, cybersecurity, which could independently identify and respond to threats. Structure was developed for it, jointly government, military, scientific institutions, and the business sector. Today, the Israeli cybersecurity industry, 31% of global investment. To this sector, the 9th trend of cities of the future is the most controversial. This is the use of artificial intelligence for police surveillance and forecasting, how to respect human rights, data privacy and surveillance, in the interests of security, as well as predictive policing. Despite the ethics debate, in recent years, rate of implementation, neural networks and for security purposes increased use of intelligent solutions, such as biometrics, facial recognition and intelligent camera and video surveillance systems. Recent research has shown smart technology can help cities reduce crime rate to 40% and reduce emergency response time by 35% already. The study showed cities started investing in crime mapping, in real-time management of mass riots and gunshot detection. Cities use facial recognition and biometric data, car and body cameras for police, drones and aerial surveillance, as well as an emergency app to ensure public safety. Example of implementation could be Kanagawa in Japan. In preparation for the Olympic Games, police launched intellectual system with artificial intelligence support. She is able to determine did one and also person commit multiple crimes by comparing data related to each crime. Using this information and can predict the next move of the criminal. But in Japan, there is a more interesting example of the city of the future, 90 kilometers from the Japanese capital Tokyo. At the foot of the famous Fuji mountain, Toyota Automotive Corporation is building something massive. We are talking about modern, innovative city area of about 700,000 sq m, which will be built with zero. In Aries city is created based on 3 principles: human-centered respect and prioritization, people needs, living lab, allows you to test freely, new technologies in real conditions, and constantly evolving approach, thanks to which new technologies, services are constantly growing and improving. Known that the Japanese city of the future will function solely through clean energy. Atom will be built mostly of wood. At the same time, they will be equipped with maximum equipment, artificial intelligence technologies and others, systems, who will check the health of residents, take care of their basic needs and improve everyday life. The city will be covered with vegetation, grown in particular without the use of soil, and in its center will break a huge park and equip the area for a local community gathering people, buildings, vehicles in the city will be connected with each other by data and sensors. 3 types of roads are planned to be built in Aries City for Toyota drones and palaces, pedestrians and personal transport, that is bicycles and scooters, as intended by the authors. All 3 types of streets will intertwine with each other and form a single organic network. Will also be built underground road for transportation of goods. Nissan Food Products will be responsible for food in the city, which offers innovative products based on recent. One of the most promising technologies in nutrition is 3D printing. It allows you to create food from a variety of components, mixing them in the fanciest way possible, and creating shapes and textures to choose from. 3D printing will allow you to customize the final dish according to your requirements and tastes, reduce the amount of waste, will allow you to eat more properly, and can completely reverse our established perceptions about tastes once the technology is perfected. It will provide unlimited opportunities to create new foods by changing ratios, ingredients, and their final physical form. On plate, 3D seals plan to replace food from tubes. The astronauts technology is already being used. For example, the startup Redefine MIT to make artificial meat look, smelled, and building, and the juiciness of a real piece of beef with 3-dimensional printing allows you to reproduce more 70 different sensory factors of meat using vegan components, mimicking muscle, fat, and blood. The usual taste of food can change, and robot chefs, when they learn not just to act on a pattern, but also create new dishes, show existing systems, be it a pizza-making robot or fancy robotic kitchen anomaly robo-hands, which can completely repeat hand movement. Chefs act according to a laid pattern. Moths trained on famous chefs' movements, whose recipes are laid in memory. Robotic kitchen, but the robot can be customized for yourself if you set the set, ingredients, and sequence of movements, such as add, prevent to flip. In the future, such robots in restaurants and at home will be able to cook the necessary dishes, which you will order in the app while driving home from work. And when artificial intelligence will be added to machines, they will be able to offer you new delicious and healthy meals. Quite possible, what is cooked they will be from ingredients grown from stem cells, collected udons, cultivated in laboratory conditions, so already get in vitro meat, and in the future will receive fish. Such companies, how just already experimenting with chicken nuggets, sausages, and even foie gras. But while this way of getting products is very expensive, but vertical farming has every chance of becoming mass. Already soon, vertical farms and gardens already have in South Korea, Sweden, Singapore, and USA. In Japan, more than 50, and Russia has its own startup IPHARM, originally from Novosibirsk. Vertical farms IPHARM, managed by, automated via electronic platform, IPHARM Grutone. It optimizes the work of the company for the crop to be good, matured in the projected time frame, and with a minimum cost. The program interacts with all sensors and controllers, controls temperature parameters, humidity CO2, solution composition, and irrigation schedule, as well as the schedule, switching on and off LED lamps, replacing the sun. Blockchain will guarantee the food security of the future. Already soon it will revolutionize supplies, agri-food products, making every transaction in the supply chain transparent. It will help almost instantly detect and track, for example, source of contamination or contamination of finished products, and will also allow you to control the shelf life, all products, and support development of alternative distribution channels. Food giants such as Walmart, Nestle, and many others already working with AB over the application of blockchain in their supply chains. The next technological trend in the food of the future, personalized nutrition concept, different, adapting the diet to your readable state, special wearable gadgets, before adjusting the menu to your DNA. Last idea, nutrigenomics, based on DNA bond tracking, human and ability to learn certain products while she is in her infancy. But some companies, such as defrostfit, intragenomics, and Habit, already offer similar services. Another unusual trend: cell agriculture. This process has two forms: cell-free products, composed of organic molecules, such as protein and fat, but not containing living cells, and products made up of living cells. Personal products should be our usual options, but made they will be completely different. For example, inserting appropriate genes into yeast cells can be programmed to mass-produce them. Ordinary products of animal origin, such as milk, so founder of the company Nature's Fund, Thomas Johnson, and his team discovered in hot geysers of Yellowstone National Park, fungal microbe, which survived underground temperatures of 120 C. Now such microbes are fermented in the company's laboratories in Chicago, where food specialists manipulate them, turning them into imitation chicken and other foods. The company recently received $80 million in funding from such investors as Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, and Michael Bloomberg. I wonder what originally the project. Search for organisms able to adapt to extreme environmental conditions. In Yellowstone Volcanic Springs, funded by NASA, and Finnish startup Solar Foods extracts protein from the air. Food of the future. Alternative meat. Plant-based. Developers extract from air and electricity, derived from renewable energy sources. The result is the ability to significantly reduce the impact food production processes themselves on the environment. Company claims that her unique unicellular protein Salian, as a result of special bioprocess from electricity and air, maximum environmentally friendly. Its totally natural fermentation process looks like yeast production. In taste and appearance, protein is neutral. It has a rich nutritional value. Product should appear on the market this year. Other technologies of the future that will change our diet, worth highlighting, and artificial intelligence. Now basically, it is used for data analysis, predicting the effects of various factors on the efficiency of agriculture. But Russia, these are capable of more. Outflow product sorting before design modeling, functional protein nutrients, sweeteners, and others, as part of alternative products. But even if in the future, we are doomed to a standard vitamin pack, protein, minerals, fats, and carbohydrates of unknown origin, it does not mean yet that we won't be able to choose and invent ways to enjoy food. Already today there are concepts and working technologies allowing different ways of delivering food to the body. The most striking example is vaporization, that is, turning into steam powered through a nebulizer, creating edible smoke. Possibly already today, working machine called Lavoff, created by Harvard professor David Edwardson. There are also options for those who is in a hurry: nutritional transdermal patch, useful gum with different flavors, and even the project of implantation directly into the body of the reservoir, which injects into the body if necessary. Protein carbohydrate shakes. But if in a couple dozen, hundreds, or 1,000 years we will be able to invent technology which will allow us to reach to Earth-type exoplanet in other planetary systems, and we can survive there, then humanity has chances. Again, adapt to such travels, conditions of life on other planets. Genetic engineering will help. The end of the world caused by an irreversible change in the sun. This is one of the two ends of the world, which is inevitable. Second, which will certainly be the end of humanity, is the death of the universe. Even if we settle by a star like the sun, then after a few billion years, we'll have to look for a new one. So already well, and they will end once. All this time, the universe continues to expand and cool. Stars one after another go out, and new ones do not appear to replace them. And what option at the end of the world seems most likely? Personally, write to you in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, put like video, and don't miss new releases from the world of science and technology.